Vacations. They can be pretty neat sometimes because sometimes if you have enough time, money, and resources to be able to take neat vacations, you can go on quite pretty neat adventures. And greetings, folks. This is Fromark here with another episode of Fromark Talks. And I apologize that it's been a little while since the last episode of Fromark Talks, which seems to be a running theme over here, that there's always a long gap between episodes, but it doesn't mean I'm ever going to stop making these episodes. I'm going to keep making episodes as long as I can and as long as people watch them. But anyways, yeah, so I recently went on vacation and I got to go to several states, and me and my friend Charlie actually spent, it was several days. We traveled across many states, and it was a really fun adventure. I figured in this video I would talk a little bit about that. And yeah, so it was actually about a month ago at the time of recording this. I've been meaning to make this video for a little while, and I apologize for that, folks. But anyway, yeah, so day one was pretty neat, so to really start out, me and my friend had been planning this adventure since the beginning of 2023. Not too long after we did the Bristol vacation, which I made a video about that last year, and I thought it was pretty cool that my friend Charlie, who tagged along for Bristol last year, got to tag along again for Talladega this year. But yeah, this was a long planned out process. I had ordered the tickets back in July or I think it was actually April, and then I booked the hotel in July, and then at the beginning of October, the end of September was pretty much when all this happened. For day one, I went and picked up my friend, and we went to Huntington, West Virginia for Waffle House, because Waffle House is a vacation staple. It's a really good place to get food, and they're open 24 hours, so yeah, I like me some Waffle House. Of course, I had to get me a pecan waffle. But yeah, Waffle House is some pretty good stuff. And then from there, we pretty much stayed on the road for about 13 hours. It was a pretty long drive from Ohio to Alabama. But another part of the reason for that was not only because it was a long drive there, but we made a few other stops along the way. As we stopped at the Kentucky border, stopped and got a picture at the welcome sign, took a few pictures there. I also did the same thing at Tennessee's welcome sign, since we didn't get a chance to do that last year. Stopped over at the welcome to Georgia welcome sign as well, and stopped over at the Alabama welcome sign before making it to the hotel. But yeah, it was a pretty long drive though. We left about 2 in the morning, I think it was, and didn't get to the hotel till much later that afternoon. But all went pretty good. That first night we ended up getting this really good deep dish pizza, and then there was also got tattoos. He got something that was pretty neat. I think it was from the new It movies. He likes those. But I got me a new Blink-182 tattoo because they're my favorite band. And they also just recently put out a new album that's pretty good. Go check that out. But yeah, I thought the tattoo turned out really well. It's my second one, as I also got the Sonic Team logo on my wrist. And I don't think I'm done yet. I want to get a few more because they're kind of neat, I think. I think they're pretty neat. Now, I will admit my tattoo did cost a little bit more than I thought it was going to, but all ended up being well at the end of it all. I spent a little bit more on this trip than I wanted to, but every cent was worth it. I wouldn't trade any of it for anything. But yeah, day one was pretty much just spent getting situated and then getting to the hotel, getting a few pictures and making a few stops on the way, and then getting that ink and the za, and it was pretty good. It was all pretty good. And that led into day one of the Talladega experience, which luckily we didn't have to drive too far from the hotel to the track. It was about a 40-minute drive, and traffic was pretty decent. It wasn't too bad. We eventually made it to a decent parking space. Got pretty good parking for both races, actually. Whenever me and my friend made it for the truck race, I thought I kind of botched the parking a little bit because there were some people who were just being jerks when they were like trying to guide people into parking into certain spots, and I didn't know what they were wanting me to do. But eventually, I just parked the car, and all was well. Honestly, though, it was a lot of fun. I mean, made it to Talladega for the truck race and took tons of pictures, got tons of video. There were even a couple of pretty crazy moments in the truck race, and I got plenty of video of that, and like I said, I took tons and tons of pictures. I'm still kind of sorting through all the stuff it took, and I thought it was a pretty good race overall. It was a little more action-packed than the NASCAR Cup race the following Sunday, but both races overall were really good. Had really good seats. I made sure to get the best seats I could possibly get for me and my friend. It was kind of diagonal above the start-finish line, sort of. We got really good seats. We could see all the way around the track for the most part, and we both had sets of binoculars with us, and made it much easier, and it was a really good experience overall. For the Truck Series race, I believe Brett Moffitt was the winner of that, which kind of caught me off guard that he just randomly showed up for a Truck Series race and won, so that was cool. And then not too long after the truck race was Cup Series qualifying, so me and my friend, most everybody else cleared out for that, but me and my friend went and got lower seats a little closer to the track and watched the cars zoom by for qualifying, and that was pretty cool. Of course, day one at the track, I bought plenty of cool merchandise, and I ended up finding a merchandise tent that me and my friends stopped at on the way back to the hotel that I seen. And then for the cup race on Sunday, there was another merchandise place that he spotted out, so we stopped at that one too, and we ended up finding some pretty good stuff. I ended up definitely finding a couple more die-casts. I'll have to make another NASCAR die-cast collection video live from my storage unit soon. But I definitely found all kinds of neat stuff there, and I think he did too. He found some pretty cool stuff, and I mean, that was definitely a huge goal of going to the racetrack, of being in that general area, was hoping to find more cool merchandise to add to our collections. Now, we didn't meet anybody famous, we didn't get any autographs or anything, but that's alright. It doesn't necessarily have to happen every time that you go somewhere or do anything. The odds aren't always there, you know? But yeah, there was all that leading into day 2, which was the NASCAR Cup Series race at Talladega. That was the main event. That was the big event, the NASCAR playoffs, the Cup Series, yeah. But that ended up being a pretty awesome time. Me and my friend actually made it a little bit later to the track for that than we'd hoped to, and actually there was also the garage experience that I'd paid extra for us to get, so that way we could go in and see all the cars in the garages right before the race started, and that was pretty cool to be up close and take all those pictures. And definitely was really neat to see everybody working on the cars right before the race. I got to wander around on pit road a little bit as well, and got to sign the start-finish line. That was pretty neat too. And of course, got to hang around for driver introductions, which is always a good time. And it's always pretty cool to be up close. It's the second time I've gotten to be up close for driver intros, because I did that at Martinsville one year, and that was pretty cool. And of course, it cracks me up just how many people hate Denny Hamlin. He has a lot of haters. Everybody was booing him and being all mad. I'm not a fan either. I can't stand him. I'm glad he didn't win. But I did put money on him just in case. I actually put money on a bunch of drivers, and hey, it actually paid off because Ryan Blaney ended up winning the Cup Series race, and because of the amount of money I put down on him on DraftKings, I actually came out ahead like $200 some, and I ended up winning $300, but I'd put a little bit of money into it. But I still made back more than what I put into it, which was awesome. And yeah, like I said, the Cup Series race, it was pretty good too, but it wasn't as good as the Truck Series race. I will say, though, that overall both races were pretty good, and it was an amazing experience being that close to the spotters stand. As it turned out, it was sitting so high up that they were literally right behind us. And it was a really beautiful track. It's like 2.5 miles long, and you got mountains in the background, and it's a really cool place. It's definitely, I would say overall, it's the best NASCAR experience I've had yet. And I'm glad that my friend got to be a part of it too. Of course, after those races, there were still a couple of days left to spend doing stuff, and stuff definitely was done. There was a lot of Family Guy watched. Me and my friend watched a lot of Family Guy at the hotel. Played a lot of NASCAR games that I brought my GameCube with me. You gotta play some NASCAR before you go to a NASCAR race, you know? That's just how it works sometimes. But yeah, overall it was a really fun time. I definitely hope me and my friend can go somewhere cool next year. We're talking about maybe doing Pocono. Because, I mean, neither of us have been to Pennsylvania yet, and I think Pocono would be a neat track for the atmosphere. Maybe not so much the racing, but more so the atmosphere. That and the fact that it's really close to Ohio. I got to make a couple extra stops too. Me and my friend definitely went to plenty of places to eat, and we went to the ocean at the Gulf Coast on the Gulf Shore of Alabama. Got to swim in the ocean a little bit. As this was my second trip to the ocean, it was a lot of fun to be back in ocean water, and I'm surprised not very many people were swimming that day, but always nice to kind of have the beach to myself for the most part, and always a good time. Got to have some pretty good seafood afterwards. Stopped at a really nice restaurant and got some good seafood. This giant crab that they had, along with a really neat drink they had called the Shark Attack, which was like a little plastic shark in the drink, and it had like this little red liquid in it that if you poured it into the drink, it mixed it. It kind of made it look like it was blood in the water, which was a pretty neat little thing they had there. And then there was a Mexican food restaurant that me and my friend stopped at, and I ordered this drink, and when I ordered it, it was jumbo size, and I didn't realize jumbo size would mean that it would be the size of my head. I didn't finish it, and I didn't take a picture of it either, so I should have taken a picture of it. But after stopping at that seafood place, it turned out Florida wasn't very far from where we were at, so we made an extra stop and stopped at the Florida welcome sign and got a few pictures by that as well. So that was another state I crossed off the list. I ended up crossing off 3 new states in this time. It was Georgia, Alabama, and Florida. Definitely want to go back to all 3. Maybe not so much Alabama, but I would definitely like to go back to Talladega sometime. It was a pretty good race, pretty good track. And then to finish off the adventure, we made another trip back to do some go-karts in Tennessee, and then headed home from there. So yeah, that was pretty much vacation, and it was a really good time. I had a lot of fun. I'm glad that my friend got to have a lot of fun as well, and definitely planning something for next year. And yeah. Anyways, folks, this has been Fromark, and I thank you for listening to me ramble on about the adventures I had, and hopefully I can make another Fromark Talks episode here before too long, and keep the momentum going over here on the channel, because things are looking pretty good so far. I've noticed an uptick in subscribers and views, and definitely want to build from here. But anyways, folks, I hope you all stay safe and tune in to whatever it is I do next. This is Fromark signing off. I'll see you later.